Why would, again, thinking about why would promoting the spirit of race and pride be more appealing, right? Go ahead.
I did four actually, but one that really stood out to me was the same thing as my sister, to promote the spirit of race pride, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started that too.
Yeah, it just stood out to me, like it was, I just thought it was really interesting.
What stood out to you? Yes, I need a couple.
Which one to choose? Like the first one, to establish universal confraternity among the race.
Right? And that's an important one. If everyone goes back to the top, it says to establish a universal confraternity among the race, right? Why did this stick out to you as being something that would have brought you to the Garvey movement?
From what I understand of the word confraternity, just to have more of like a family or like an organized like feeling among people who you didn't know, but now you know, and like being a part of something.
Yeah, right. And thinking about, like, again, this course is called Black Utopia, but it's also the international impact of African American freedom movements. This is where we're really starting to get into the activism. Last week was kind of a teaser that we weren't able to necessarily all the way finish it, looking at the Cuban Solidarity Movement and how they were trying to end slavery in Cuba during the Reconstruction period. But even more post-Reconstruction movement, we see not only are these three men also trying to galvanize support for African Americans in the United States, they're also trying to galvanize support for people outside, right? So you can see down below it says local Jamaica objectives, right? So what are they trying to do in Jamaica? And they're similar, right? To establish educational and industrial colleges to further education for people, for boys and girls, right? One thing that we did not see so much in the colors is that a lot of Black women during this time period are going back to school. They are becoming the teachers. The role of Black women in society during the post-Reconstruction period is really hard to discount. They were educators, they were going to colleges, they were opening businesses. They were a very, very core part of Black society at that point. Even though we're talking about Marcus Garvey and W.E. Du Bois, Marcus T. Washington, there were a lot of Black women during this time period as well. Again, similar to what you said, to reclaim the fallen and the degraded and help them to a state of good citizenship, right? The fact that, hey, in this movement, I don't necessarily have to be perfect or be a talented temp, but I can also be myself. And I can get back up whenever I fall down. So kind of taking a look at this, which of these, and I kind of use this as a closer before we go over and eat because these wings are starting to get to me. What are some things that would have drawn you? Which movement do you think you would have been drawn to more? Because we didn't necessarily talk about the cons of this movement, but which there were many. Booker T. Washington actually signs on to a letter with a lot of prominent African Americans, essentially calling the Garvey movement a really, really bad movement that really needed to stop. So there was a lot of kind of like issues with it, but this is kind of, again, looking at what they thought they were doing is important. So which one do you think you would have gone to? And we'll do that, a circle around, and then you can go get one of these. So which movement, Booker T. Washington, let me get the pictures up. So Booker T. Washington, W.E. Du Bois, or Marcus Garvey? Garvey? Do most of you say Garvey?
He was the last one that you should have said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people, specifically people who are more for kind of like the common man, were really interested in that. a lot of people also went to Booker T. Washington and W. Du Bois. And again, they all each individually set up their own organizations. The United Negro Improvement Association, W.E. Du Bois with the NAACP, which obviously is still very heavily, there's the NAACP branch, many places, they still do a lot of great work, as well as Booker T. Washington. So, y'all want to get wings? Or not?
Yeah.
All right, let's go, because I can't, I'm literally sitting over here. All right, and I might play something while we eat. Does that sound good?
All right.
Do you want to watch more Nina Simone?
Sure. Okay.
Because I love